Thank you. Okay, assalamu alaikum everybody. Inviting me here first of all, and also I think it's really good in every single gathering we do, we should always have something Islamic. That is Islam. So it's not all about dressing up and eating and hee hee ha ha. We should really be doing a little bit of Islam as well. So you're privileged really to have me here. Most of my audiences are very big, as you've seen lately, 100 to 150 people at least. But I'm here, mashallah, in your in your salon today, your shop. So we're here to talk about parenting. Within the community, did you know that bad children is the third most biggest problem, especially here in Europe? It's different from in our home countries. So we're going to talk a little bit about your role as mothers, because that's first. The way you bring them up is the way that they will then be later on in life. Then we'll talk about some of the problems. This is a separate PowerPoint for under 10s. I've got a separate talk, it's on my YouTube channel for teenagers. Some of the teenage topics out there like gang culture, drugs, all this sexual education and all that kind of stuff is a separate thing. Okay, I had to cater it around the majority of the children. There will be a PowerPoint first, as you already know. Most of you have seen the way I do things. And we will do questions at the end. So if you've got any questions, keep them in your mind. Some questions I will ask you as I go along. And you can put your hand up, please, for the questions. I will try my best to incorporate a little bit of Urdu as well. So after each slide, I will repeat a summary in Urdu as well for some of the elders. Okay? So most of you know me as your cousin. I started off as a qualified teacher, so I've got plenty of experience with children. I've been teaching for over 22 years. But I've also got a separate master's in special educational, social and emotional, mental health and well-being needs. So that means any child who's got behavior problems. It can be because of a diagnosis or it can be because of anything else. And I'm also a chaplain. A chaplain is somebody who works in high establishments, and I'm actually a chaplain in university, so I deal with teenagers in college and in university. And I deal with teenagers who have got problems, and I help them according to Islam. What does Islam say? What the Hadith say? Because did you know how to bring up your child, each and everything is actually in the Quran and in the Hadiths. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he showed us how to bring up children. So that is all you need to go by, really. Okay? So let's make a start. We are going to go and talk about mothers. And if you want to talk about the topic on fathers, that is a separate PowerPoint and it's a separate lecture which is on my YouTube channel. We'll try and do a little bit each time we have a gathering. So we are looking at mothers today. We will be looking at the importance of mothers, importance of fathers, roles and responsibilities of mothers, their individual role. We'll be looking at the healthy mental and emotional development of children according to the Quran, Sunnah and research, which is psychology research. And also the roles and the responsibilities of children then. That comes later. First we do our bit. When they become teenagers, they become adults according to Islam, then the role reverses and then they have to do whatever we did with them to us. Okay? Who knows who the very first mother was in Islam? Put your hand up. Who was the first mother in Islam? Yes?
Hawa.
Hawa. Okay, so Hawa was the very first parent, the first mother, and the whole reason why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Hawa was to make children, to have children. O mankind, fear your Lord who created you from a single soul, and from him created his wife, and from both of them he created many men and women. And fear Allah through whom you demand your mutual rights, and don't cut the relations of the wombs. Indeed, Allah is ever all watcher over you. That is in Surah Nisa, named again after women. Okay, so जो पहली औरत थी वो बनाई गई थी ताकि वो बच्चे बना सके. हवा थी पहली औरत जो आई थी, अल्लाह सुब्हानहू व तआला ने उसको भेजा था ताकि वो बच्चे बना सके दोनों. तो हमारा मिशन है बच्चे बनाने के लिए यहाँ दुनिया में.
She known as Eve.
Eve या हवा. Hawa is the Arabic word and Eve is the English word, according to the Bible. Okay? And did you know that the status of mothers was raised the most in Islam? In Christianity, we had, for example, Maryam, anha, she was a perfect mother. She was above all the women of all the nations. And we know that in Judaism, in the 10 Commandments, Allah said, honor your parents. But the biggest status to mothers was actually when Islam came. When Islam came, mothers were raised the highest ever. And it said that heaven lies at the feet of thy mother. Okay, so Jannah lies at the feet of your mother. And what does that mean? What does that mean, that Jannah lies at the feet of thy mother? उसका मतलब क्या है कि जो जन्नत है वो पैरों के नीचे है, जो माँ है उसके पैरों के नीचे है जन्नत. उसका मतलब क्या है?
So it means that if you serve your mother in a good way and she is happy with you in dunya, you will be able to enter Jannah.
And it means it's only through pleasing your mother that you will enter Jannah. So if you displease your mother or you talk back to her, you argue back to her like what I always hear from your mums, you will not enter Jannah. You will not enter Jannah. That's what it means. And we have got plenty of examples. So, your mother, she was the door into this dunya. Okay, so she brought you into this world, your mother did, and she is the door that you will need to get to Jannah. So you need to take care of this door. Okay, जो पहला दरवाज़ा था जिसमें आप यहाँ दुनिया पे आए हैं वो आपकी अम्मी थी. वो दरवाज़ा से आप यहाँ आए. वही दरवाज़ा से आपने वापस जाना है जन्नत में. So there are so many hadiths, and in the Quran it gives us examples of why we should really respect our mothers. So it was narrated that Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, said, a man came to the Messenger of Allah, peace and blessings of Allah be upon him, and said, O Messenger of Allah, who among the people is most deserving of my good company? He said, your mother. He asked, then who? And again he said, your mother. And then he said, who? Then he again said for the third time, your mother. And then after that he said, your father. Okay? That is actually in Bukhari and it is in Muslim as well. So ये एक hadith है, example है कि जो mums हैं उनका कितना status है इस्लाम में. 3 दफ़ा एक सहाबा ने पूछा कि किसको सबसे ज़्यादा रिस्पेक्ट देनी चाहिए, और 3 दफ़ा मदर्स था और उसके बाद फिर बाप का नाम आया था, चौथा नाम. एक और बहुत interesting story है. There's another story where there was a man and his name was Alqama. He was such a good man. He prayed 5 times a day. He believed in Allah. He always paid his zakat. He did his fasting. He did Hajj as well. He did everything. Okay, he was following Islam really well. And when he was about to die, he couldn't say the Shahada. And they called Prophet Muhammad ﷺ to him and said, you know what, we're really scared because this man is really religious, but he can't say the Shahada. So what happened then was, Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, did you fast in Ramadan? He said, yes. He said, did you pray Salah 5 times a day? He said, yes. Did you pay your zakat on time? He said, I did that as well. And then he asked, what about your mother? Were you good to your mother? Okay? And all the people around him, around Alqama, said no. Do you know he hasn't seen his mum for years, and I heard he's ill as well. Okay. जो एक आदमी था अलकामा, तो वो सब कुछ करता था, अल्लाह का इंसान था और सब कुछ करता था, सलाद भी पढ़ता था, रोज़े भी रखता था, हज भी उसने किया हुआ था। तो जब वो फौत होने लगा था, वो शहादा नहीं कह सकता था। तो फिर सब ने प्रॉफिट मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम को बुलाया कि ये शहादा क्यों नहीं कह सकता, क्योंकि हमारे मज़हब में शहादा बोलो मरने, जब आप इस दुनिया पे आते हो शहादा होता है अज़ान में, जब आप मरते हो फिर शहादा कहना चाहिए मरने से पहले। तो वो कह नहीं सकता था। तो फिर प्रॉफिट मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने सवाल पूछे कि ये जो आदमी है ये नमाज पढ़ता था? सब ने बोला हाँ, ये तो 5 वक्त का नमाजी था, ये हज इसने किया हुआ है, ये सौम करता था, सब कुछ करता था। फिर जब उसने पूछा कि इसकी अम्मी के साथ इसके ताल्लुकात अच्छे थे, उसने बोला नहीं, हमने तो सुना कि वो 2-3 सालों से उसने अपनी अम्मी को देखा ही नहीं है और वो बीमार पड़ी हुई है। तो फिर प्रॉफिट मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने बोला कि जाओ उसको लेके आओ, उसकी मम को लेके आओ। So then the mother was called and the mum was not happy. She was very grumpy. Okay? And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said to her, "Are you happy with your son?" She said, "No, I am not happy with him at all. He always disobeys me. I am therefore displeased with him." तो उसको गुस्सा आया हुआ था, उसने बोला कि मैं नहीं उसके साथ बात करना चाहती, उसने कभी भी नहीं मुझे खुश किया। And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Okay, then in that case, we will have to throw Alqama into the fire." Okay? तो फिर Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ने बोला कि जाओ फिर अलकामा को आग में अभी इसी वक्त डाल दो। फिर तो उसकी अम्मी ने बोला कि ये क्यों कर रहे हो, उसको आग में क्यों डाल रहे हो? तो प्रॉफिट मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम ने बोला था कि ये इस दुनिया की जो आग है ना, वो 70 टाइम्स लेस है, तो बेटर है यहाँ ही उसको सज़ा मिल जाए, क्योंकि जब वो ऊपर जाएगा तो जहन्नम में जाएगा, उसको 70 टाइम्स हॉटर होएगी वहाँ जहन्नम। So he said, better to burn him now while the fire is 70 times cooler than the fire of hellfire, which is where he's destined to go, because he was not, his mum is not happy with him. Okay? What do you think the mum did now when she found out her son's going now in the fire? What do you think the mum said?
She would forgive him.
She said, I forgive him, bring him out quickly. Okay? तो उसने बोला मैं उसको माफ कर देती हूँ, प्लीज उसको ना डालो हेल फायर में। तो फिर वो वापस आ गई और अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह उसने शहादा उसी वक्त बोल दिया। He said the shahada and then he peacefully went to sleep, dead as a Muslim. Okay? फिर उसको मौत आ गई और वो मुस्लिम फौत हुआ। So this is a classic example, children. Okay? Another very, very good example that you can be as religious as you like. You can do your 5 times prayer, you can fast in Ramadan, but if you're being rude to your moms or you are disrespecting them, then there's no good in all of those things. Okay? Right, why are mothers so important? For what reason? जो moms हैं वो क्यों इतने important है? उनको इतना status क्यों दिया गया है? Hands up everyone. Why?
क्योंकि वो बहुत ज़्यादा अपने बच्चों की केयर करती है।
हाँ।
सबके लिए उनके लिए रहती है। हर तकलीफ बर्दाश्त करती है।
उससे पहले main चीज़ क्या है?
So first of all, she carries the baby in her womb for 9 months.
Good. Pause there.
And then
Pause
okay.
there. Okay. Pause there. Okay. The main reason is she gives birth to her children. The children, you wouldn't even be alive if it wasn't for your mum. Okay? You wouldn't even be in this dunya if it was not because of your mum. So, did you know caring for your child begins while you are pregnant, while they're still in your wombs? Okay? So, you don't take drugs, you don't drink alcohol, you be careful with your medication, you don't get too tired. Caring for your child actually happens even before they're even born. Okay? हिफाजत बच्चे की तभी शुरू हो जाती है जब प्रेगनेंसी शुरू होती है. जो केयर है बच्चे की उस वक्त ही शुरू हो जाती है. खाना भी ठीक खाना है, मेडिसिन्स ओवर नहीं खानिया जो इफेक्ट होएगा बेबी के ऊपर, और एनवायरनमेंट अच्छी होनी चाहिए. जो बच्चा है वो सुन भी सकता है, कुरान शरीफ भी वो सुन सकता है. एक बच्चा था 4 साल का, हाफिज कुरान बन गया था. तो उसकी अम्मी ने बोला था कि जब प्रेगनेंसी में थी वो रोज़ कुरान शरीफ सुनती थी, तो उसको हाफिज अंदर ही हो गया था इसके. तो ये बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट बात है. सेकंड चीज़ फिर है वो पैदा करती है बच्चों को. फिर मेन चीज़ है वो बच्चा पैदा करती है. वो बच्चा रो रहा है, वो रोता ही रहेगा पूरी उम्र, और आप भी रोते रहेंगे पूरी उम्र. यही है दुनिया, ऐसे ही है दुनिया. तो टेस्ट अभी उसने आपको अभी करना है फ्यूचर में, ये तो कुछ भी नहीं है. तो फिर वो बॉर्न होता है, और women are half the society which gives birth to the other half, so it is as if they are the entire society. So पूरी जो दुनिया है वो औरत से बनती है. जो औरतें हैं उन वो हाफ खुद है सोसाइटी के, और जब वो पैदा करते बच्चा वो पूरा सोसाइटी उन्होंने ही पैदा करनी है, चाहे वो बॉय हो या गर्ल हो. समझ आ गई?
Yes, yes.
और लिखा हुआ है कुरान शरीफ में कि we have enjoined upon man to his parents good treatment. His mother carried him with hardship and gave birth to him with hardship. ये कुरान शरीफ में लिखा हुआ है कि उसने बहुत हार्डशिप के साथ पैदा किया है बच्चे को, तो उसके साथ फिर पेरेंट्स के साथ अच्छा करना चाहिए ट्रीटमेंट. ये 46 चैप्टर कुरान शरीफ में आया नंबर 15. और आपको पता है कि जब जो ह्यूमन बॉडी है वो up to 45 decibels unit of pain, it can actually, is the most it can feel, not feel but bardash, bear. But did you know that when a mother gives birth, she feels up to 57 decibels units of pain. This is similar to 20 bones getting fractured at a time. तो जो नॉर्मल ह्यूमन बॉडी है सिर्फ 47 डेसिबल्स ऑफ पेन बर्दाश्त कर सकती है, लेकिन जो मदर है ना जब बर्थ करती है ना तो 57 यूनिट्स ऑफ पेन उसको बर्दाश्त करने पड़ते हैं. वो इक्विवेलेंट है जो 20 जो हड्डियाँ होती हैं ना जब वो टूटते हैं, 20 हड्डियाँ उसका पेन वो बर्दाश्त करती है. And that children you will never know until you have children yourself. But imagine, you have a little bit of a flu and you go running to your mum's, don't you? Okay, but just imagine how much your mum did to even bring you into this world. Okay, the most important thing right from the beginning is that the mother is religious. And did you know that when men get married, they can marry someone for their beauty or their wealth or their status, but what is the thing you're supposed to marry your wife for? Religion. Okay? That is important because the mother is the main person in the house. She's the one bringing up the children, so it's so important she's religious. And this is why there's that hadith that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said you can marry others for their status and their money, but you should marry them for their religion. Okay? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ने बोला था कि जब आप शादी करेंगे तो जो औरत है वो religious हो, दीन में हो. उसका एक बहुत important reason है क्योंकि जब बच्चे पैदा होते हैं जो माँ है वो ही उनको तबीयत देती है, वो ही main है person house में, उसको ही वो follow करते हैं बच्चे. इसलिए तो important चीज़ है. The children too have rights over their father. First of all, he should search for a good mother for his son. He should marry a good religious woman. इस्लाम में है कि जितने ज़्यादा बच्चे करो उतना अच्छा है. क्यों? रीज़न क्या है इस्लाम में?
Yes, it will help to spread the deen.
Yes,
Yeah.
because if you have lots of children and then you can spread the deen of Islam. Islam deen फैलाने के लिए ज़्यादा बच्चे करो. पूरी basket of children. Bachchi is in Punjabi, I know, but I don't know the Urdu word. Okay. Bachchi same है.
जितने बच्चे होंगे उतना spread होगा.
Acha, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam has already told us the 3 stages of parenting. He's already told us. And we know he is the perfect person and we should follow his sunnah. We cannot go wrong if we follow his sunnah because he was the perfect person to guide us. He had no black spot in his heart. It was taken out when he was 4 years old and again when he went up to Miraj. Okay? So the first 7 years you should play with them, bond with them, love them. Okay? The second 7 years is the teaching part. That can be their schooling. Most schools, did you know, out of Europe, like Switzerland for example, they start at 7 because that's when your brain is then ready to learn. So that is when you teach them halal and haram, the religion, how to read salah, everything. Rules, regulations, boundaries. And then the third 7 years is the most crucial. If these two, believe me, are put in place, they won't go wrong at this stage. And do you know where our people go wrong? Is they will take their children to madrasa. They'll quickly Dore Quran bas finish kar lo, Arabi mein. They don't even know what is in the Quran. They don't know what is the Quran mean. They don't know that this is right and this is wrong. And that is a very, very big problem, huge problem. And their children don't know what's in the Quran. They take them out as soon as the Quran is finished by 9 years old. And then the teenagers, which is the main years when they need the sunnahs and the hadiths and the Quran, they haven't got it. So why do you think they're going to get into drugs and they're going to get into peer pressure and they're going to suffer from mental health with the dunya? So I cannot mention that enough. Yes, finish the Quran, but after that go through it in English and then explanation as well. They need that. Okay? Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ने हमें सब कुछ बताया गया है पेरेंटिंग के बारे में, हर चीज़ है कुरान शरीफ में और हदीस में. तो उन्होंने बोला था कि जो पहले 7 साल है उनके साथ खेलो, बॉन्डिंग करो, उनके साथ ना बॉन्ड करो, क्लोजनेस आए. फिर जो नेक्स्ट 7 years है 7 साल, उनको तालीम दो, इस्लामिक तालीम, सलाह वगैरह सिखाओ, कुरान शरीफ वगैरह सिखाओ और बाउंड्रीज और मैनर्स, ऐसे करके चीज़ें. फिर जो थर्ड 7 years हैं उनको फिर सब कुछ कंबाइन होके फिर वो ठीक होते हैं टीनेज ईयर्स में 14 years के बाद. जो ये दोनों मिसिंग हैं, ये पार्ट फिर नहीं होना मुश्किल है. हाँ, मुश्किल, बहुत मुश्किल है बाद में करना. आप बैकवर्ड्स नहीं जा सकते, वो साल आपने लूज कर दिए. तो ये यहाँ फिर भी हमारे जो है ना कल्चर में ठीक है, 7 साल औरतें घर रहती हैं, टाइम देते हैं बच्चे को. लेकिन जो मैंने देखा है ना, ये जो नेक्स्ट 7 years है ना, कुरान शरीफ पढ़ के तो बस मदरसा से निकाल देते हैं, बस ख़त्म कर लिया कुरान शरीफ, आमीन कर लिया. लेकिन उनको पता ही नहीं है कुरान शरीफ में लिखा क्या हुआ है. वो तो अरबी में है, उनकी ज़बान तो नहीं है अरबी. उनको इंग्लिश में या जो भी उनकी पहली ज़बान है, एक्सप्लेनेशन चाहिए और ट्रांसलेशन भी नहीं इनफ. उनकी बैकग्राउंड क्या है,
अमल में चाहिए,
अंडरस्टैंडिंग चाहिए. तो इस पे मैंने देखा है कि जो हमारी कम्युनिटी है ना, ख़ासकर पाकिस्तानी कम्युनिटी, वो बिल्कुल ज़ीरो है इस बारे में. बंगाली फिर भी बेहतर है हमारे से. अरबी तो डिफरेंट है, उनका तो ज़बान ही अरबी है. तो ये जो है ना, ये पार्ट सबसे ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट है. तो केयरिंग फिर नेक्स्ट है. जब बर्थ हो जाए, ये नहीं कि बस आपने केयरिंग स्टॉप कर देनी है. सबसे पहले जो करना है अटैचमेंट होनी चाहिए। जो बहुत ज़्यादा डिटैचमेंट डिसऑर्डर हो रहे हैं, जो मम्स हैं इस मुल्क में खासकर वो काम पे चले जाते हैं छोड़ के बच्चों को नैनीज के साथ, लेकिन नैनी उनकी मम तो नहीं है ना। So what's happening is the mums are leaving their children too early on and they are going out to work. Okay? Allah made you their mothers for a reason. You give birth to them, it doesn't stop right there. According to the Quran, how many years are we supposed to wean them for? कुरान शरीफ में क्या लिखा है, कितने साल हमें उनके साथ रहना चाहिए और उनको फीडिंग वगैरह सब कुछ करनी चाहिए? कुरान शरीफ में कितने साल लिखा हुआ है?
2 साल।
2 साल। वो 2 हैं लूनर ईयर्स, मून के मुताबिक, अच्छा चांद के मुताबिक। तो लिखा हुआ है सिर्फ फीडिंग नहीं है, सब कुछ करना है। वीनिंग जो है ना, जो कुरान शरीफ में जो लफ्ज़ है ना, वो सिर्फ फीडिंग नहीं है, सब कुछ करना है, नैपिस चेंज, फीडिंग, सब कुछ। So we have enjoined man concerning his parents. His mother carried him in her womb while suffering weakness upon weakness, and then weans him in 2 years. Because of that, be grateful to me. This is Allah talking. Be grateful to Allah first, and straight after Allah, it's so interesting, He's mentioned parents next. So Allah के बाद next जिसको respect देनी है, parents को देनी है next. Allah के बाद. So be grateful to me and to your parents, and to me is your final destination. तो लिखा हुआ है कि पहले मुझे grateful हो, फिर parents को, फिर मेरे पास ही आपने आना है end पे. But if they argue with you to commit shirk, that of which you have no knowledge, do not obey them, yet treat them kindly in this world. So you have to obey your parents no matter what they tell you, except if they tell you worship more than one God. Even then you have to treat them kindly. इसका मतलब है कि जो पेरेंट्स हैं वो हर चीज़ से मना, उनका हक है बच्चों को करना। सिर्फ एक चीज़ जिस पे बच्चे कह सकते कि हमने नहीं सुनना, वो शिर्क में है सिर्फ, ताकि जो आप बोलेंगे कि ये दूसरे गॉड को करो, पूजो,
जो बात नहीं माननी वो सिर्फ शिर्क है,
सिर्फ शिर्क। और वो भी अल्लाह ने बोला कि सिर्फ उनको फिर भी काइंडली ट्रीट करो, फिर भी प्यार से बोलो, फिर भी ट्रीट काइंडली। जी, everything else, no matter what your mums tell you, you have to listen, because they know best. They've got more experience in life than you have. We know better than you. We've lived in your time. We've gone through all of this ourselves, haven't we, girls? We have lived through this. We have got 40 years approximately more wisdom than you have. We've made mistakes, same mistakes as yours, and we know, you know, what is best for you, even though you don't know it now. हमें ज़्यादा experience है, 40 साल ज़्यादा approximate experience है बच्चों से। हमें ज़्यादा बच्चा की पता है कि क्या सही है, क्या गलत है, और उनको सुनना चाहिए बच्चों को। ब्रेस्ट फीडिंग बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है। ब्रेस्ट फीडिंग जो है वो नेचुरल है अल्लाह से, और जो ब्रेस्ट फीडिंग है उस पर ना बहुत ज़्यादा ये है बेनिफिट्स। डॉक्टर्स को भी पता है, उसके साथ सिर्फ बॉन्डिंग नहीं होती, लेकिन hormones भी रिलीज होते हैं, ऑक्सीटोसिन, and it's very, very good for you, all of these kinds of things. There are psychological benefits of breastfeeding, and it makes you lose weight as well. If you know, who didn't breastfeed their children? If you breastfeed your children, it helps you to lose weight, doesn't it, as well? Now, if we look, also immunizes you against diseases as well. Also, did you know that if you look at expressed milk, which is out there nowadays, expressed milk means that you get the milk out and then someone else feeds the baby. What is wrong in that according to Islam? What is missing if you express your milk and then somebody else, like the dad or somebody else, gives the baby. The connection, the bonding is not there. Okay? You might as well leave it to the babysitter then. So that is not there. Also, if you, right from the beginning, you start feeding them, you don't leave it like this. He's eating his own cereal. That's neglect. Okay? If you naturally look around you, animals, when they have babies, they stay with them to feed them. They don't just leave them, do they? Okay? So they don't leave them to other people to feed them. And this is the way us humans are naturally catered for. जब आप हम जानवर वगैरह को देखें, जब उनके बच्चा पैदा होते हैं तो वो खुद उनको फीड करते हैं, वो किसी और को तो नहीं दे देते ना फीड करने के लिए. तो हमें ना इस पे भी हमें सोचना चाहिए कि अल्लाह पाक ने कैसे दुनिया बनाई हुई है नेचुरली. तो इस पे वो बेबी सिटर उसको फीड कर रही है बर्ड्स को, ये पता नहीं क्या रैबिट है, और इसको ये खुद कर रहे हैं फीड. तो ऐसे हमें चाहिए. जो मम का बॉन्ड है वो सेम नहीं है दूसरे लोगों के साथ. एंड डोंट निग्लेक्ट देम. मेरी मम व्हाट्सएप में बिजी रहती है, खाना मुझे ही बनाना पड़ेगा. तो इस दुनिया में the way we are, we're very busy, aren't we? But still your priority is your children first. Leave the money making to the husbands. In Islam, the husbands are the ones, they go out and make the living. Okay? In Islam, that is the way the role is. So Islam में तो यह है हमारा रोल ही है बच्चों को पालना. जो husbands हैं उनको भेजो बाहर और वो काम पे जाए. उनको अल्लाह पाक ने skills देनी है काम के. Okay, mothers have got 5 traits which helps them to be brilliant mothers. अल्लाह पाक ने mums को 5 चीज़ें देनी हुई हैं, characteristics, जिसके साथ वो brilliant mothers हैं. तो मुझे characteristics बताओ एक दो. सिर्फ बच्चों के लिए अल्लाह पाक ने सिर्फ हमें दिए हुए better skills. Patience is good. When they're ill, who is the one who's with the child? It's the mothers, isn't it? Okay? Is it your mums who are looking after you, or is it your dads? Your mums are with you, helping you. They worry about you and they've got patience. Good? No. अच्छा, patience क्या है उर्दू में? सब्र ज़्यादा हमें दिया हुआ है, इसलिए जब बच्चा बीमार होता है तो हम उनके look after करते हैं. Okay. Love. Do you know women cry more? कौन रोता है ज़्यादा, औरतें या मर्द? औरतें cry करती हैं, रोते हैं ज़्यादा. उसका reason है, जब वो बच्चे को उनके वो नरम दिल है उनका, वो सॉफ्ट हार्टेड है, फिर उसको कदर कर सकते हैं, उसको प्यार दे सकते हैं. ये सब कुछ अल्लाह ने हमें दिया हुआ है. सो रोना एक है, एक पेशेंस, दूसरे और क्या है?
Caring.
Yeah, that is the same. Speech. Who talks more, women or men? चूलिया कौन ज़्यादा करते हैं? औरतें करते हैं gossip और backbiting, lying and all the rest.
आजकल मेंस भी तो नहीं करते.
लेकिन naturally अल्लाह पाक ने हमें ज़्यादा दिया है speech skills. उसका reason है क्योंकि हम ही उनको teach करते हैं speaking.
औरतें गिव नहीं करती, बच्चों को समझाती रहती हैं.
हम पहला स्कूल है बच्चों का, mothers, and this is why God has given us really good speech skills, so we can nag you and tell you off and tell you what to do. Okay? Any more? There's another really big one.
Good listeners.
We are listen better. Why? Why do we listen better? हम सुनते क्यों हैं ज़्यादा? हम listening हमारी ज़्यादा अच्छी है. क्यों?
बच्चा सो रहा है.
क्योंकि एक बच्चा वहाँ कह रहा है कुछ, एक बच्चा वहाँ कह रहा है कुछ. हमें ट्यून देना है, ये साइकोलॉजिकल एविडेंस है. हम ट्यून देना है, हम उनको ज़्यादा सुन सकते हैं बच्चों को. Crying noises from far away. Okay? और क्या है? एक मेन वन है. Multitasking. We change the nappy here, we eat there, we do the cooking there, we're talking to a child here, there's another one there doing homework. Okay? We are multitasking, which means Allah has made us that way. With a man, you tell them one thing, they just do that. If you tell them one more thing, they forget. जो ladies हैं, उनको powers अल्लाह पाक ने दिए हुए हैं. हम ये भी कर सकते हैं, वो भी कर सकते हैं, ये भी कर सकते हैं, ताकि उनके ज़्यादा बच्चे हैं. एक को सुनो, एक को होमवर्क कराओ, एक की नाकी बदलो. जो मर्द हैं, उनको सिर्फ एक चीज़ बता सकते हो. Lucky there's no men teacher. And then they forget. If you give them more than one instruction, they forget. Because Allah has made them different. Okay? We need more multitasking skills. Also, we have peripheral vision. A lot of doctors will know this. We have peripheral vision. We can look all around, everywhere. That's given to us because of all the different children. We have to keep an eye on all of them. And men, they have tunnel vision. They can only see in front. जो मर्द हैं उनकी tunnel vision है वो सिर्फ जो आगे है सिर्फ देख सकते हैं. इससे जब आप उनको बताओ ना कि ये जाके ढूंढ के लेके आओ कपट में वो सिर्फ सामने जो चीज़ है वो ही देख सकते हैं. साइड्स पे नहीं देख सकते क्योंकि उनका विजन नहीं है. लेकिन जो हम औरतें हैं हम सब कुछ अराउंड देख सकते हैं, all the way around. Okay? So ये भी skills हमें दिए हुए बच्चों के लिए. Okay? So also there are other reasons that make us better carers as well. There's another one. Who's cleaner, men or women? Women are more cleaner as well. Okay? They have more personal hygiene skills. Did you know that? That's so that we are the ones that have to look after the children. And we are not allowed to neglect them. Also, I talked about crying skills as well. They are there so that we can feel sorry for the children and we can kiss and hug them as well. So all of this bonding happens in the earlier years when the children is at its most stage when they are ill a lot. You know, in the early first 7 years, your child is the most ill. Chicken pox, all the things they get the most in the first 7 years. And did you know we have more immunity? Haja will know this. Women have more immunity because of our hormones. We're more stronger. When men are ill, they go straight in the bed, don't they? Flu, man flu. तो औरतें को ना ज़्यादा इम्यूनिटी भी दी हुई है ताकि वो उनको ना स्ट्रॉन्ग होते हैं जब बच्चे बीमार होते हैं. तो जो मर्द होते हैं वो बेड में चले जाते हैं जब वो बीमार होते हैं. तो different skills हैं ये. So your mums, they stayed up day and night and prayed for you when you were ill. And did you know that it's the dua of your parents, really, is that invisible hand that saves the day? And this is to do with the immunity. Okay, so mums are a lot more immune to diseases, whereas men don't go straight in the bed. So, mother may be educated or not, but she's the best teacher for whom we can learn how to show care and affection. And the first 7 years is very important because you have to properly love and care for your children and become bonded with them. Those are the first crucial years when you make that bond. Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam showed us this. He was very nicely bonded with his daughter Fatima. Whenever she used to come to his house, he would stand up and he would kiss her on the forehead. So Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam ने हमें दिखाया हुआ है कि कैसे बॉन्ड करना है. वो उनके अपनी बेटी को बहुत प्यार करते थे. जो फातिमा है, जब वो आती थी तो उसको ना खड़े होके तो उसको किस करते थे. So no neglect. There is actually a hadith that shows us that if you neglect children when they are young, when it's your old, they neglect you. So did you know there is a correlation between parents going in old people's homes and those parents neglecting their children when they were young? Okay? So whoever neglects to teach his son that which will benefit him and ignores him has done something very bad indeed. Most children go astray because of their parents who neglect them and fail to teach them the duties and sunnahs of the religion. They neglect them when they are young, so they do not benefit themselves or benefit their parents when they grow up. So hadith में लिखा कि जब आप उनके ना केयर करेंगे, जब वो बड़े होंगे वो आपकी केयर नहीं करेंगे बुढ़ापे में. तो लिंक भी है ओल्ड पीपल्स होम्स में और वो जो पेरेंट्स जिन्होंने नहीं केयर की बच्चों की. तो आजकल जो बच्चे हैं उनमें रहम नहीं है, सिंपैथी नहीं है. तो इसका यही वजह है. पेरेंट्स शो नहीं कर रहे, वो घर पे नहीं होते, बिजी लाइफ है टू मच. तो इसलिए जो बच्चे हैं वो पिकअप नहीं कर रहे,
अपना ख्याल करते हैं ना,
अपना सेल्फिशनेस बहुत है. So basically, if the mum shows the child, cares for the child, helps the child will then grow up learning. You are the biggest role model for your children. Okay? So all your life, in the early years, you cannot sleep. While you're pregnant, you can't sleep. Then they're crying, you can't sleep. Then you got more children and you can't sleep. Then the child is ill, you can't sleep. And then when they're older, they start mathing you back. They start going out. They don't tell you where they're going. Your whole life, your mums are crying all the time. Okay? So I'm going to put a video on about all the traits of mothers. Some quality time with your spouse and children. It creates a healthy relationship and contributes to a sound upbringing. So we've done the first 7 years, which is the bonding part. The next 7 years is the educational part, okay? And that is the time, I think, when mothers spoil their children the most in those next 7 years, which is not good at all. So your children, again, they need your presence more than your presence. जो तोहफा वगैरह देना है बच्चों को, उनके साथ लव नहीं आप खरीद सकते, प्यार नहीं खरीद सकते उनको प्रेजेंस देने के लिए. और आजकल बहुत जो मदर्स हैं उनको चुप कराने के लिए बच्चों को कुछ ना कुछ खरीदती रहती हैं. The children have got too much. They are spoilt rotten, all of them. They are too much food. If they don't want to eat whatever you've cooked, roti and salan, oh, we want chicken nuggets and chips. Straight away, never mind, I'll do that for you. And then you give it to them. That is no good. It's roti and salan. You eat roti and salan. If you don't want to eat that, you stay hungry. Simple, like when we grew up. Why do we respect our parents even now? Why? Think of our own upbringing. We were not pampered, were we? Whatever our mums gave us, even if it was ojri. Remember ojri? Oh my God, ojri. And my mum said, no, you're going to eat that. There was no alternative. So we'd cry and eat the ojri, or we'd stay hungry. Simple. Our mum didn't go out and start making fish fingers. She could have. There were fish fingers in the freezer. She didn't. We are pampering our children far too much. We are spoiling them. They got too much too early. They got mobile phones. I saw a child here crying with a mobile phone. You took the mobile phone away and he started crying, and then you go, here you go, have the mobile phone. That's spoiling them. They have to understand when you tell them to sit still, they sit still. Okay? So this is a very important one. Spending time with children is more important than spending money on children. And we are giving them too much at an early age. Which child is happier out of those two? कौन सा ज़्यादा खुश है? ये वाला, क्योंकि उसके पास कुछ भी नहीं है, वो appreciate करेगा अपनी life को, उसको ये मिलेगा तो वो appreciate करेगा. ये जो है later on इसको mental health होएगा. क्यों? इसके पास तो अभी सब कुछ है, तो बड़े होके फिर उसको क्या मिलना है? कुछ भी नहीं. उसको तो पहले ही सब कुछ मिल गया. कोई इंटरेस्ट नहीं है उसको खुशी नहीं होगी कुछ लेने में. उसको जो भी देंगे उसको ये तो कुछ भी नहीं है, फेंक देगा वो चीज़. हम बहुत जल्दी उनको सब कुछ दे रहे हैं तो वो स्पॉइल हो रहे हैं बच्चे. और बिजीनेस बहुत ज़्यादा है. पेरेंट्स जो है ऐसे छोड़ के तो फिर चले जाते हैं काम पे. तो ये इम्पोर्टेंट है लेक्चर. ये एक साइकोलॉजिस्ट है, उसने दिया हुआ ये वाला लेक्चर.
Some parents make the mistake of pampering their children. They think they are loving the child, but they end up spoiling them. And if you are one of those parents, either you are already facing some trouble because of it, or the trouble is coming, I assure you. What kind of trouble? You have probably made your child's life so comfortable that they now fight with you the moment you ask them to do something difficult or something they disagree with. You have given them so many privileges or luxuries that they can't adjust in tougher conditions outside the home. You have perhaps been saying yes to all their demands and now they can't accept a no. They get angry and throw tantrums every time you refuse to fulfill their wish. You have maybe given them so much that they don't even value any of it. In short, they are spoiled. Why do parents do it? There could be many reasons. You want them to have the life you never had. You don't have time to spend with them and thus you just shower them with toys, gifts and luxuries. Or maybe this is how you actually show your love. You don't know any better way. Or possibly you think your child will hate you if you say no to them and you want your child to love you, at least more than they love your spouse. Whatever the reason you might have for pampering your child, my recommendation to you is very simple. Don't do it. But of course it's not that simple. The problem is complex. You as a parent have a certain level of wealth and resources. What will you do with it if you're not going to let your children enjoy them? And where is the line? Like how much should you give? How much is too much? How much is too little? There is obviously no measurable or one-size-fits-all answer for this. As the cliche goes, it depends. But I'm going to give you a framework to think about this problem. Consider following points. First, try to predict and answer this question. When this child becomes an adult, would they be able to sustain the current level of privileges or not? The answer to this question will change every so often. Someday your child will seem very responsible and talented. Someday it will feel they are useless and incompetent. But you must keep those questions in mind. Will your child be able to afford the rent of the big house they are living in? Are they capable enough to buy the expensive branded clothes you buy them so casually? If not, how will the future look like? How long will you keep giving these privileges? Ultimately, you will have to cut them off. Ultimately, you will have to make them independent, right? So why not start a little earlier? Why not start today? This brings us to the second point. You must, from the beginning, create a balance of responsibility versus privileges in the house. Responsibilities in childhood mostly include schoolwork and house chores. Some other responsibilities could be to remain healthy, maintain decorum in the house, even being respectful to parents, etc. You need to make privileges somewhat conditional on these responsibilities. Essentially, give them a taste of adult life, which is, if you don't work, you don't get the car. Third, ask another question to yourself: are you giving them resources for their growth or for their pleasure? If you're spending money on your child's music classes, sports classes, books, etc., it's very different from spending money on their toys, gadgets, clothes, birthday parties. Basically, whatever you're spending on them, is it being used by the child to just have more fun, or is it being used to try out a new skill or to become better at something, to explore talents, to start a new project, etc.? The problem would begin when you start spending excessively on their fun without proportionately spending on their talents and growth. So make sure you're investing proportionately in their joys and their talents. Fourth, are you making them grateful towards what you're giving them? If you think, oh, I'll give them everything and then in future the children will love me, bad news. It won't happen like that. They will most likely take everything for granted. More often than not, you'll just find them complaining about the things they didn't get. So it's your job to make them realize the value of what you're giving them. It's your job to make them thankful for it. It's your job to tell them that millions and billions of people probably don't have the same privileges. They must realize the value of everything you're giving them for free. Like, why spend so much money and time on them only to be hated later? You give them everything and they grow up resenting you and not talking to you? What's the point of it all? Who did you do it for? So gratitude must be taught to them explicitly. And first step there would be to show gratitude to your own parents consistently. Fifth, you must make your child experience no from time to time. They must learn to deal with it. Of course, don't do it arbitrarily. Say no only when you have good reasons to say no, but do say it when needed. The main thing here is to learn to not be afraid of the child's anger or tantrums. In fact, if they show tantrums or anger, then you'll have to become even more strict in saying no. Your goal is to make sure that they accept your no with respect. And your objective is to teach them that their anger and tantrums will never turn a no into a yes. If you get scared and say yes to avoid fighting with them, you're only making them stronger. This is basic operant conditioning. By letting their anger win, you're reinforcing their bad behavior. In fact, if they show bad behavior, you need to not only stand your ground and stay firm, but you can even go on to cut additional privileges. Say no to something else as well, just as a lesson to them. As a parent, you must strive to have the authority to say no and still be respected. Finally, follow the cliche because it's very true. Your time is the best gift. Children need your time, your love, your care. That's really the biggest gift. Pamper them with your time whenever you can, not with things. If you really want them to love you all your life, give them good memories with you, not just stuff which anyone can buy them. So these were my premises, and I repeat the conclusion: don't pamper your child too much.
Okay, does that make sense? I thought that was a very good video and he explained it very well. So we've already talked about playing. Playing is very, very important with your child. All the games that you played as a child, that gets them away from PlayStations, outdoor games, the things we played as children. Believe me, if you introduce those games into your children's life, they would still have more interest in outdoor activities rather than just Xbox, PlayStations. And then, because women have better communication skills, we are very good at teaching them. That is not just for Islam, but also for education within the schools as well. Try and do things without computers if you can. Children learn best the old-fashioned way by writing, rather than from computers. Books are actually becoming a thing of the past, but books are very important. If you think of us, we learned very well with books in our hands and we read them. So PlayStation बहुत खराब चीज़ है. Old-fashioned way is best है. Games उनके साथ खेलो. Different games or books उनके साथ पढ़ो ऐसे करो. And all of these things are causing a lot of problems in today's world, as we know. This is the social situation nowadays. In the olden days, we all sat together, ate, talked. Nowadays, all the children are like this, okay? They are not developing good social skills. This is us now. In the olden days, we used to get excited when the phone rang as well. Our first phone was so exciting. And now, look, everybody's just got a phone while they're eating. So जो family है ना वो break down हो रहे हैं ये सब modern gadgets के साथ. उनके पास social skills नहीं है. बातचीत का उनको पता ही नहीं है कैसे करना है. क्योंकि हम जब बड़े हुए थे तो हमें ये सब कुछ पता था क्योंकि मोबाइल फोन्स नहीं थे. तो उनको सिखाना पड़ता है मोबाइल फोन पीछे करो और उनको बताना पड़ेगा कैसे करना सब कुछ. आजकल हॉलीडे पे भी जाते हैं और मोबाइल फोन लेके जाते हैं बच्चे. ये सन टैन लाइन्स हैं उनके. सन टैन. तो स्क्रीन एडिक्शन टॉप मेंटल हेल्थ प्रॉब्लम है आजकल. आप काउंसलर्स पे जाओ और उनको पूछो टॉप जो मेंटल हेल्थ है ना वो स्क्रीन एडिक्शन है आजकल. और उनको इज्जत दिखाओ खुद बता के. टीचर्स की कोई इज्जत नहीं है आजकल. जब ओल्डन डेज में टीचर बोलती थी कि ये बच्चा ख़राब है तो जो पेरेंट्स हैं वो फिर डांटते थे. आजकल जो पेरेंट्स हैं वो टीचर्स को डांटते हैं कि आपने कुछ ठीक करे. ये आजकल का यहाँ ज़माना है. So be careful the way you're treating others as well. Because the children pick it up and they show disrespect. Go to all their parents' evenings, their achievement evenings, and teach them good manners according to the Sunnah. Teach them good manners according to the Sunnah. The best form of Sadaqah Jariyah you can do is teach them the Quran yourself. खुद कुरान शरीफ उनको पढ़ाओ ताकि आपका सदका जारिया बने. आपका सदका जारिया कैसे बनेगा जब सब कुछ दूसरे लोगों के पास लेके जाते हैं. सूरह फातिहा उनको खुद सिखाओ ताकि जब भी वो नमाज पढ़े आपको सवाब मिले. क्योंकि आपको ये सब कुछ चाहिए जब आप फौत हो.
औलाद ही सदका जारिया है.
जी. So your children are your sadaqah jariyah. Teach them all the Islam yourself. Why do you want someone else to get the credit? You get it. So if you can, you should. Teach them Arabic language. This is where the Pakistani community are lacking. And teach them how to pray yourself. खुद उनको बताओ नमाज कैसे पढ़नी है. जब वो खुद जब भी वो पढ़ेंगे आपको सवाब मिलेगा. Surah Fatiha is another important one. And try and pray in Jamaat in your house. So many mothers say to me, our children, they don't read namaz. We tell them, but they don't do it. If you all get together like in the picture, and all of you stand together, then of course they will do it. It's family bonding time as well. And remember that when you go to Jannah, your descendants will join you in Jannah. जब आप जन्नत जाएंगे आपके बच्चे आपके साथ होंगे जन्नत. और सिर्फ दीन सिखाना नहीं है, नॉलेज बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट है. आपको नॉलेज है आपके दीन में कि आप उनको बता सकते हो. जब वो आएंगे स्कूल से और बोलेंगे हमने क्रिसमस मनाना है, आपको नॉलेज है कि क्रिसमस का बैकग्राउंड क्या है. वो तो पूजने वाले वो लोग थे जो क्रिसमस मनाते थे, हिंदूस थे वो. तो जो उन्होंने मनाना है फिर दिवाली भी मनाओ जाके फिर, क्योंकि वो एक ही चीज़ है. तो ऐसे करके उनको बताओ कि ये रॉन्ग है ये राइट है. क्योंकि शिर्क आपको पता है सबसे वर्स्ट चीज़ है जो कभी भी नहीं माफ होना. और खुद उनके लिए रोल मॉडल बनो. खुद वो आपको देखते हैं बच्चे कि आप क्या कर रहे हैं. You are the role models for your children. They watch you quietly. What are you doing? Are you being a hypocrite? Are you wearing a hijab in the house? Then when you go to weddings, your hijab comes off. Are you reading Salah and you're wearing sleeveless kameezes? Okay? They watch you, so you are the best role model for them. Wake them up for Fajr with you so they can pray with you. And the other biggest thing that's missing is something we got and the children didn't. क्या मिला था हमें जब हम छोटे थे जिसके साथ हम रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं पेरेंट्स की, और आजकल के बच्चे को नहीं मिलता. हम क्या करते थे हम पेरेंट्स बच्चों को
ये साथ रखते थे ना बच्चे.
नहीं और डांटते थे. Shaping Punjabi kids for a better tomorrow.
आजकल के बच्चे पुलिस को बुला लेंगे
छितर जो है गुड चीज है क्योंकि बच्चे डरते थे
फिर बोलो क्या
कि
बोला
ये छितर अच्छा वो हमें मिले हुए हैं लेकिन हम तो फिर भी रिस्पेक्ट करते हैं पेरेंट्स की हमें तो नहीं चेंज हुआ
चित्र खा के भी बेमजा नहीं हुए
क्योंकि उसके साथ चित्र के साथ टाइम भी था जो उन्होंने दिया था इस वजह से बैलेंस हो जाता है
The problem nowadays in this country is you're not even allowed to touch them. You touch them and that's I'm calling childlike. Okay? This is a big problem. This is not an Islamic country. This is a Kafir country. So their laws are not according to Islam. So yes, if they're doing something wrong, even the Prophet, he said, if you teach your children to pray when they're 7 years and beat them lightly if they don't pray when they're 10 years. So I know you can't go against the law of the land, but to a certain extent, yes, you can raise your voice. It's like in schools, in the olden days, you could cane the children and they would be really well behaved because they were scared of the cane. And nowadays you can't even say anything and the behavior of the children has gone worse. So yes, you should, they are allowed to tell you off. If they tell you off, that's good because they're disciplining you. Discipline is important. उनको सही रास्ता दिखाना है तो फिर आप कर सकते हैं. Okay? जो वो नहीं सुनते फिर जो वो गुस्सा उनको आता है आप उनके साथ पानी भी फेंक सकते हो ये भी हदीस है जब गुस्सा आता है उनको बोलो बैठ जाओ फिर गुस्सा आता है उनको बोलो लेट जाओ फिर भी उनको गुस्सा है फिर पानी उनके ऊपर फेंको ताकि उनको मजा मिल जाए कि हमने गुस्सा नहीं करना ठंडा करने के लिए So Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, if one of you got angry while standing, then sit down. If standing down, then lay down. If anger does not go away, then do wudu. Okay, that's in Ahmed and Abu Dawud. So yes, they are allowed to nag you, and do not spoil them when it comes to food. I already mentioned that, didn't I? If they don't eat anything, then you are allowed to tell them off, and you should say, if you don't eat this, you don't eat anything. Bobby, I'm thinking of your kids here. If they don't eat what you give them, sorry, you're not eating, stay hungry then. I'm not giving you nothing. Okay? Because if you look at our days, did we have any allergies to peanuts, gluten-free, all this? Did we have any of that? No, because we ate everything, didn't we? Nowadays they are being selected and then they're getting allergies as well. The last 7 years, okay, you haven't done your role properly. In the first 7 years you were out working, the next 7 years you didn't teach them the deen properly, so this is when they start arguing with you. Why? Why are they arguing with you? Because the religion isn't there, okay? So don't use the sharpness of your tongue on the mother who taught you to speak. How sinful are those youth who speak gently with their friends while they shout out at their mothers. And this is happening at the moment. जो बच्चे हैं अपने friends के साथ अच्छे बोलते हैं और parents के साथ badly बोलते हैं. So the children need to remember, don't anger your parents. They are the ones who spent their lives building yours, not your friends. What have your friends done? When you're in difficulty, believe me, your friends will run away. Okay? So your parents are the ones who have built your lives. And you should not be angry at your parents. You should imagine life without them. If your mother asks you a question, she already knows the truth. She's testing you. So you're not allowed to lie. तो जो moms हैं उनको पहले ही आंसर पता होता है जो वो पूछ रहे हैं बच्चे को उनको पहले पता है ये आंसर क्या है lie नहीं करना listen to your elders' advice. They have more experience than you have, more experience of being wrong as well. Okay, and this is all the life cycle where at 14 years it changes. Before 14 years, you love your mum, you think she's everything. At 14 years, mum knows nothing. What mum? 18 years, you're old-fashioned. Then when you get married, then you find out. That's when I found out, when I went into my in-laws' house. Suddenly I realized, you know what, my mum's wonderful. Honestly, it's then I realized. जब सासू का डर पड़ता है, फिर पता चलता है कि मम की वैल्यू कितनी है. जब अगले घर जाते हो, पहले नहीं पता चलता. And then you know the way they brought you up, the role reverses. At teenage years, they are adults in Islam. जब teenagers बनते हैं बच्चे, वो adults हैं इस्लाम में. फिर role change हो जाता है. जैसे आपने उनकी हिफाजत की है, फिर उनका हक है कि वो आपकी हिफाजत करें जब आप बूढ़े हो जाओ. So love your parents when they grow old, and they didn't leave you when you were young. You are not allowed to leave them when they are old. Okay? And you know how the mother looked after the child is now looking after the poor ill mother in the same way. And you must not complain because your mum did not complain when she fed you and kept you in her womb for all those years and breastfed you for 2 years. You have to now do the same to her. And when you're younger, you say, my mother. Then all of a sudden, when you're older, you say it's your duty to the siblings, don't you? You push her away. It should be like this all the time. Okay? I think Haja is a very good example because she's got her mum living in her house at the moment and her mother-in-law. So that is a good example to show the children you're looking after not just your mother but your mother-in-law as well. तो मैं हाजरा का एग्जाम्पल दे रही हूँ. उसकी सास भी उसके घर में, उसकी अम्मी भी उसके घर रह रही है. ये अच्छी बात है बच्चों को देखने के लिए कि बच्चों को पता चलता है कि ऐसे हमारी अम्मी अपने ओन माँ बाप को लुक आफ्टर करिए, हमने भी ऐसे करना है बड़े होके. So our parents were patient when we were young. Now it's our time to be patient during their old age, and they are our blessings. And in the Quran, it tells us that after Allah, we have to respect our parents in old age. What is the word in Islam that is used that we're not allowed to say? It's written in the Quran. Oof. Is oof just saying the word, or is it everything else as well? Is it just saying oof? It's everything. You mustn't roll your eyes. You mustn't ignore. You must shrug your shoulders. It's everything. Okay? And it says lower your wings of humility to them. And it's a life cycle. So can you see here, the child is born and the child gets bigger. The mum is actually holding her child. Okay? And then as the child gets stronger, the mum is now becoming weak and the mum has now become a baby. So it's written in the Quran that your whole life cycle of the mother changes. She becomes like a child again. वो फिर बच्चा बन जाती है जो मदर है. तो ऐसे उनको look after करना है. So here is the baby is now growing, and then she becomes old again in the same state of weakness. This is the whole life cycle of a mother. What actually eventually happens to her. And then after they die, there are still things you can do to help her. That's the unique thing about Islam. So any promises she had, you can fulfill those promises for her if she didn't do it in a lifetime. You can grow trees for her or anything she grew. Anybody who eats and drinks from it, you get the sadqa jariyah. So दरख्त वगैरह आप अपने अम्मी के नाम उगा सकते हो. जो भी उस दरख्त के नीचे बैठेगा या खाएगा उसके फल से वो सदका जारिया आपके लिए. और इसलिए मैंने पहले बताया था कि जो कुछ सिखाना है खुद सिखाओ इस्लाम में, वो आपके लिए सदका जारिया. एक एक लफ्ज़ कुरान का जो आपने सिखाया है, जब भी वो रिसाइट करेगा आपको वो अजर मिलेगा. And dua is the very other important one as well. They have to do dua for you and you will be raised in Jannah, up the Jannahs, and you will ask Allah, why am I raised? It's because your child prayed for you. So उनको पहले सिखाओ दुआ कैसे करनी है पेरेंट्स के, ताकि आपका जो जन्नत में वो रैंक्स आप ऊपर जाओ. और जब आप पेरेंट्स को देखो उसका स्वाब है एक हज, जब आप देखते पेरेंट्स नाइसली स्माइल करके. Okay, right, questions. Any questions from children or adults? Any questions? Okay. I can't believe there's no questions. There always is. Haja, do you have any questions? Do you want to get the ball rolling? इसका मतलब आपको सब कुछ समझ आ गया और आपके बच्चे सीधे हो गए. इसके बाद सीधे हो जाएंगे, ठीक है ना? Okay, that's fine then. Okay, this is okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.